keep hearing from so many of my friends all over the country who have been affected by a nasty, 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 either a cold or a flu or a stomach bug. Junk is in the air and it is not pleasant. I somehow have not gotten hit with this bug. Knock on wood. I am not trying to jinx myself right now, but I have managed to stay healthy while working at an elementary school multiple days a week. So maybe those kids have just been helping build up my immune system. I'm grateful. What's actually crazy is how the cold and flu medicines that you can buy at the grocery store have been proven to not do anything to help ease your symptoms. I've been seeing news report after news report saying that these medications don't do anything and they're actually probably causing more damage to yourself than benefit for helping you get over the flu. There is something that has been shown to help ease cold and flu symptoms, and that is elderberry. I have been wanting to make my own elderberry syrup for a very long time. I just have never tried or done it. I didn't know where to buy elderberries because I don't grow my own. I found some on Amazon, dried elderberries that you can buy. Whole certified organic elderberries. They are dried. I found an elderberry concoction that I'm going to cook up, and you know I freeze dry everything. I'm gonna freeze dry it and see if I can make an immune supporting, cold busting powder mix that whenever my kids or myself or my husband get sick, we can just pour some powder into a cup of water and drink it, and we've got our medicine. So going into my pot, I have 7 cups of water, 1 1/3 cup dried elderberries, 4 tablespoons of ginger that I have peeled and freshly grated directly into the pot. For this, you want to use the fresh stuff. It just has more of that antibacterial, germ-fighting ingredients in it. I definitely would look for the fresh. Most grocery stores sell it. You just got to kind of hunt for it. I am throwing in 4 cinnamon sticks. If you only have powdered cinnamon, that's fine too. 1 teaspoon of cloves. I used whole cloves, and so I just dumped some in. I probably did more, closer to a tablespoon. And then after this comes together, we're gonna add our honey, but not till after it comes off the pot. I really can't believe how easy that was to throw together. The recipe I did is a double batch. And so I just wanted to start out with a small amount because if it doesn't turn out in the freeze dryer, I didn't want to waste it all. If it doesn't turn out, then I'll just make another batch and just store it in my fridge. My problem with, so this you can store in the fridge for up to 2 months, which is a nice, decent shelf life for the refrigerator. I just don't like storing things in my fridge. My fridge is always too full, and when I have things stored in there, they go to the back of the fridge and I forget about them. So that's why if I can have it on my shelf or like in my spice cabinet where I can see it a lot, I'll know it's there and I'll be able to use it, and then I've got more room in my fridge. This mixture is going to have honey in it, 2 cups of honey, but it's gonna be diluted in a decent amount of water. So I'm hoping it's gonna work in the freeze dryer. I mean, supposedly honey is one of those things you can't freeze dry, but people are smart and figure out ways to do things that they say is impossible. In fact, in a future video, I'm gonna try freeze drying all the impossible things they say you can't freeze dry. See if we can do it, because honey is on that list of things you really can freeze dry. This is new information to me. There's just certain things that you have to do to get it to work. So we're gonna see if this works, or if it's a sticky, nasty mess, then that's gonna be a bummer. I have this much elderberries left from that bag. I can make so much more elderberry syrup. I'm really excited about this. I am gonna try 1 tray of doing it in these little silicone molds. I was warned about these that you shouldn't necessarily freeze dry directly inside of these cubes, that you should freeze it and then dump it on your tray. I didn't plan for pre-freezing today. I don't have time. So I'm just gonna stick just 2 small trays worth amount of elderberry syrup in here and just see what happens. I just want to see if it works, and if it doesn't work, then I mean, you guys are always right, so that's okay. We're just gonna see how it goes. The rest I am just gonna do loose on a tray, just pour it directly on here I'm debating if I should use my tray liner or not. I think I'm gonna use it. Sometimes I don't use a tray liner for liquids and I can just scrape the dried powder out of it, but I'm a little worried because this has honey in it that it might be a little sticky. I don't know. I'm gonna use the tray liner and just see. Do any of you have your own elderberry plants? My mother-in-law has one in Arizona and she makes her own homemade elderberry syrup, which is amazing. I want to have my own someday. Now that it's off the heat, I'm going to be adding 16 ounces of honey. I chose an organic, pure, raw, unfiltered honey. I'm just gonna let this sit out at room temperature for a little while before I pour it into my freeze dryer trays because it's still just very hot. It's so windy outside today. Like, I just keep hearing these rumblings and it sounds like my house is shaking. We have a high wind advisory this weekend, which is not good for our broken fence that broke in the last wind advisory storm we had. Not as bad as my poor neighbors, but it's windy and rainy. Do we trust myself with this? I'm gonna like do this because I'm worried about it splashing up. And I think I'm gonna fill them about halfway. Okay, one-handed setting down, not easy. Quickly realized the tray liners were not gonna work. The liquid just goes right underneath it. So I don't know why I thought that would be a good idea. I've got a little bit of a drip left. I wanted to see what it tastes like. It's actually pretty good. You can kind of taste the little spices in the background, but you mostly taste the honey and the like elderberry flavor. But it doesn't taste artificial like the stuff that they sell at the store. This is all natural, wonderful perfection. So far, I have not stained my clothing. We will see if that lasts because I have to somehow get these trays down to my freeze dryer without spilling. I never do this, but I'm gonna carry them individually down so that I can just keep an eye on each tray as I walk. That was literally so scary. I have tan carpet. If I would have spilled this, that would have been a disaster. And I can hear you screaming at the screen. Brooke, why didn't you pour the liquid into your trays in your freeze dryer or right here on your table? I am losing brain cells. I'm gonna blame it on a sore back. If you missed my last video, I injured my back playing a dodgeball type of game with 4th graders in PE 2 days ago. So I'm gonna blame it on that. But yes, pour your liquids down here. If I'm pre-freezing things in a freezer, I pour it directly into the pre-freezer on the freezer shelf. I'm like out of breath. That was scary, but I did it. I didn't spill. Okay friends, we did it. We are freezing and then it's gonna dry and do all of this stuff. My trays aren't super full. I'm hoping this doesn't take too long. I mean, it has to be done before we leave for our trip in 2 days. So we will see. I'm so excited. I really hope it works. I don't know for sure. It might be a bust, but we will find out soon. Things have escalated. It is the next day. The freeze dryer is done. Wait till you see what happened. Did you know this would happen to me? Of course it would. Of course it would. Let's open it up, see what we're working with. I'm the first one to say that I love experimenting with my freeze dryer. Trying new things, it's so fun. It's fun. Until this happens. And I've got quite a mess on my hands to clean up. That's not fun, but do you want to see what we got? Let's see. Here we are up close. I mean, it's freeze dried. I just don't know that it's all that usable. I mean, I can just eat it. It's not terrible. It definitely tastes like medicine, because it is. I mean, a healthy medicine. It goes down easy because it just melts in your mouth. I don't think the product itself is terrible. There's just no way to manage this. I mean, do I bother even packaging it up? I don't know. It's very sticky. It's over here just crackling away. It kind of sounds like it's alive, which is kind of funny. I've made my decision. I'm scrapping this. It is not worth the hassle of the mess of this. And I still have elderberries that I can remake the syrup. Still 100% make the elderberry syrup. I think that's an amazing thing that you can do for helping when you are sick. Don't freeze dry it. I'm glad you all are so kind and loving to me, because you can laugh at my fails with me. Don't laugh at me, laugh with me, okay? I'm laughing. It's funny, it's funny. My machine was due for a deep clean anyway, so when I get back from my trip, Vanilla Ice is gonna get a bath. I mean, I don't have time to do it before we leave, unfortunately, so that'll be on my to-do list when we get back. It's unfortunate because it's a lot of good, healthy stuff we have in here. It's not gonna work. Since this was a bust, I wanna take you outside, show you what our weather is doing here in Alaska, because it's still so windy and so not cold. It poured rain all weekend. The rain has stopped, which is nice, but the wind is back. Supposedly it's gonna settle down this evening, but let's go check it out. It's pretty windy out here. You can see the trees blowing. Okay, and looking on the ground, I'm seeing some sprinkles. It is starting to rain. Okay. It's windy, yeah. And oh my gosh. Whew. It's chaos. We luckily have not had any power outages, so that has been a good thing. I'm bummed about my dream of having powdered elderberry syrup available. I am gonna remake it and just keep the syrup in my fridge, and I'll just make it every 2 months so that I always have it on hand. I mean, the elderberries were fairly inexpensive on Amazon. I will have those linked in the video description below if you want to get those yourself and make it. The recipe I will also have there. It was so easy. That's what I loved about it, and it's so much better than the kinds you can get in the grocery store. No added chemicals, all natural deliciousness. Thanks so much for being here, my friends, for all of my wins and fails. Y'all are the best. Remember, when you freeze dry today, you secure your tomorrow. I'll see you on the next video. This is probably gonna be from Disneyland, so I'm so excited about that. Have an awesome week.